We are recording. And just drop into your body. Take a moment. Feel what needs to get felt. Feel all that's present in there. And for the next 15 minutes, let this be an inward journey. I'm going to play a little bit of music and talk your way through it. You're welcome to mute this or follow along. Here we go.
Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachitananda Murtaya Nishprapancha Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase.
Perhaps place your hand on your heart.
Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachitananda Murtaya
Just feel it beat beneath your chest. Feel all that it went through last year. The trials, the tribulations, the heartbreak, the joy, the ecstasy, the love, all of it. Just allow those feelings to be present without judging them, labeling them, categorizing them. Just take a moment and feel into and honor the collective heart, the pain that we went through as a nation and as a planet this year. Just acknowledge it. And then take a deep inhale and let all of that go. Let it wash out of your body. If it comes in tears, let it come in tears. If it comes in breath, let it come in breath. That which is behind us is now behind us. That which is ahead of us is what we're looking forward to. Give yourself permission to just let go of anything you need to let go of, to release anything you need to release.
Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachitananda Murtaya Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachitananda Murtaya Nishprapanchaya Shantaya
Keep the connection between your hand and your heart. Keep the connection to the feelings as this next song starts. Let this take you wherever it takes you. Listen to the words.
They never taught us how to love, so we use our pain to comfort us.
Just feel into whatever you're feeling.
We never practice what we preach. Instead, we find someone else to teach. We try not to see with our eyes. We feel our place with dozens of lies. We try so hard to keep it in. We turn away from what lurks within. We are splintered and we are rotten, deep within the walls that we've forgotten.
If it gets messy, let it get messy. Just let everything come forward.
Lie within the one who tries to dodge them.
Hold back nothing. Let your heart burst forward, burst open.
We're so afraid to be alone, so we hoard our pain and call it home. They never taught us how to look inside, only how to run and how to dry our eyes. We dig ourselves into a ditch. How many of us die and pretend to live? We stop the light from leaking when we turn away from what lies within.
Let it keep coming, whatever it is.
And we are rotten, deep within the walls that we've forgotten. All the answers to all our problems lie within the one who tries to dodge them. We are splintered and we are rotten, deep under the floorboards we forgot. But all the answers to all our problems lie within the one who tries to dodge them.
Keep feeling it, folks. Keep honoring what your heart wants to come forward and bring forward. And just breathe. Keep your hand on your heart. Keep that connection. So much of what we felt and dealt with this year was isolation, was aloneness, and might have even been loneliness. And yet when I hear that song, it's just a reminder that at any time I feel alone or feel lonely or feel isolated, I can put my hand on my heart and know that none of them are true. for this last piece, this is a song I found right at the beginning of the pandemic last year, the quarantine. And it's a song of hope. It's a song of strength. It's a song of power. So what I'd love for you to do for the entirety of this song is find something right now, a truth that's in you, a truth that of you that wants to come forward, that has longed to come forward, that now for the rest of this year you will say, I am fully committed to allowing the full expression of this truth. Consequences be damned. So find that for just a moment, whatever that truth may be for you. And here, with your hand on your heart in front of all of these people, make that commitment. And make the commitment to love yourself all the way through the messiest parts of bringing that truth to light. Hold that.
The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you, me, is here to create magic on us. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you, me, is here to create magic on us. Power of love is here now. Power of now is here now. Power of you, me, is here to create magic on us. Power of love is here now.
Hold that truth.
Power of now is here now.
Let it wash through your entire body. It's undeniable.
Let the water wash away your tears. Let the fire burn away your fears. Let the wind blow into your life such faith and trust. Oh, let the earth hold you, take care of you, and nurture you. Oh, the power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you, me, is here to create magic on us. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you, me, is here to create magic on us. Power of love is here now. Power of now is here now.
Give yourself whatever permission you need to bring this truth forward, right here. To be unfucking apologetic for an entire year about who you are, why you're here, and the magic that you're here to bring to this world. Commit.
Let the water wash away your tears. Let the fire burn away your fears. Let the wind blow into your life such faith and trust. Oh, let the earth hold you, take care of you, nurture you.
holding that truth. Keep imagining. Keep believing. If not you, then who? If not now, then when? You have permission. Own that permission. Give it to yourself again and again and again. Your hand steadfast on your heart. Beautiful. Let's just hold this for a second. Just allow everything that is present to be present. And let's take a breath together. And call in as much gratitude as you can muster for the you who showed up this morning. For the you who had a million other options but decided to come here and be with yourself. Be with your heart. And be with like-minded people. Say this to yourself silently over and over. I've got you. I've got your back. You are not alone. You are loved. You are seen. I've got you. I've got your back. You are loved. You are seen. And you are safe. Keep that gratitude just swirling all through your body. Thank yourself. Thank the people who came before you. Thank the land beneath us, the sky above us, the magic that we yet don't understand, and the love that binds us all together. Let's just take one last minute in silence. And spread love out to just one person in your life who you know is hurting, suffering, could just use a little energetic pat on the butt this morning. And if that person's you, all the more powerful. Let's take one last breath together. Blow it out. Rub your hands together. Wipe your eyes if you need to. Shit always gets me. Fuck.
It's just hi. That was beautiful, Trav.
Thank you.
If you are near your device, maybe just type in one word of how you're feeling into the chat. Beautiful.
Oh,
Wow.
that's amazing. Brilliant.
Yeah. we're going to jam on a couple of things. One, I just wanted to honor the choice of that we all made to be here today. We could have chosen a lot of other things to do on New Year's morning, and we could have chosen a lot of other things to do last night that would have led to us not making it here today. So just want to honor that choice, whatever it was. Something I think we forget so often is that we are right now, we're made up of all the tiny choices we've made up until today. And therefore, like in every moment, we really do sit in a place of like pure potentiality. If we start to recognize every choice of our life as one that really does set our life in motion, that really is like, I imagine that like every time I take a step, the universe takes a step with me. And I step and the universe steps, and I step and the universe steps. And that is how we co-create, even with our thoughts. I think something, the universe responds. I say something, the universe responds. I do something, the universe responds. I eat something, the universe responds. It's, I imagine that, we're writing, and every time I take a step or make a decision, like that is the universe writes itself based on what I've just decided. So there's no wrong choices, just I'm collaborating in divine collaboration all the time. So up until this point, you've done a good job because you made it here. This is where you're supposed to be. Yeah, and it really, there's a New Year's resolution and yay, now all the shit is over because we've turned into this year. But we never know, as last year taught us, we never know. Uncertainty is something that I learned a lot of this last year, how to sit with that and how to soften into that. And how to open anyway into that. And I'm sure that we all learn that, there's moments of where I was forced to learn it and there's moments where I was choosing to learn it. Either way, we're going to learn something, right? Trav, you pick it up. I started thinking about something else.
Leila, I would love to touch on the topic of permission.
Yeah.
I think so much of what was reorganized last year without any of our consent was our ability to give ourselves permission and what we have the right to give ourselves permission for and to, and what might have been taken away from us on the external world. So I'm curious what your thoughts are, anything that you've decided to give yourself permission to experience, to express this year. And the frame is for everybody listening and watching of the question of what do you need to give yourself permission for this year? It's kind of a cliche story, but if anyone remembers the interview I did with a guy named Joe Sheehy, that he was in therapy and his therapist finally just wrote something on a piece of paper and said, "Go home. Like I can't work with you anymore. But here's the answer to all your problems." And he went home and undid the envelope and looked at it. It just said the word permission. And the next day he quit his high-tech job and started a CBD company. And now the rest is a multi-million-dollar history. But he still has that piece of paper because he said that was the key. That he was depressed. He was suicidally depressed in his job. He was just unmotivated. He was uninspired. And then boom, one day he said, "Okay, I need permission," and he got it. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on it for people listening too.
Yeah, I mean, we all have a story like that in some way, or we're getting close to a story like that in some way, right? Even in small moments. I think there's so many different elements of permission that came into my life this last year, but that we could take and really run with or unravel with in this year. But really we can't do anything until we allow ourselves to feel what's actually happening, right? So one huge thing is that we were forced to sit still this year, whether we wanted to or not in some way, or we were forced to work extra. I also know people that front lines or UPS drivers or whatever were working way fucking more than they wanted to. So in some way, we were forced to be with ourselves in a new way. And then we didn't really like that feeling. A lot of us didn't like that feeling of whatever came up, whether it was annoying or it was agitating or it was too much or I was all of a sudden feeling all these things. Giving ourselves permission to feel what we feel instead of feeling bad about what we feel or I should be doing this better. Anyone give themselves a guilt trip for how they were handling this year on March 79th? So how, like I should be doing this, and then we're in August and we're like, shouldn't I have figured out how to work from home yet? Shouldn't I have figured out how to make money yet? Shouldn't I have figured out how to handle my emotions yet? Shouldn't I have stopped drinking yet? Shouldn't I have done these things? Anyone do that to themselves? Anyone still doing that? Like, God, did I learn anything from this year? Anybody stuck in that little residual? Like, come on. So there's an element of giving ourselves full permission to feel what we have previously gone through so that the lessons can actually integrate. Because what's the point of going through something hard if we haven't integrated the lessons so that we can be more fortified and stronger on the other side, or more fortified and open? Stronger doesn't necessarily mean harder. Stronger can mean more open to what life has to offer me without resistance. So one thing for me that was huge was just permission to go through what I was going through without needing it to be over and finished, needing the lesson to be done, and to just be in the feeling, because the feeling is actually what brings us the wisdom. And oftentimes we skip over that, expecting it to be done. We're doing that with this year. We're doing this with the pandemic. Like, yes, 2021, the hard shit's over. It's over now. But permission to maybe still be in it. Like, maybe shit isn't worked out yet. Maybe the feelings are still there. Maybe it's going to be rumbly for a little while longer. And it's like more opening that has to happen. Another one for me is just permission to not resist life so hard. And we chatted about this the other day of like being someone who's a doer and like in control. I like to be in charge and lead. And then it's like, well, when you can't actually do that, you have to sit back and watch what life is actually doing in front of you. And typically that's like better actually than what we could control ourselves, right? That doesn't mean we become passive in our lives by any means. But it does give my adrenals a rest, right? My digestive system is better. I'm actually a softer, more pleasant human to be around, because life is going to happen how it's going to happen, whether I care about how it's happening or not. That's something I learned this year. And my quality of life depends on how much I resist what's happening in life or I allow what's happening in life. And obviously there are moments where we push and strive, but to discern between the push and strive and the resisting against what cannot change really, in my opinion, this like makes up the difference between like a horrible quality of life and recognizing, wow, life is actually happening for me to evolve and to learn. So biggest things, permission to feel completely, permission to still be in it. And then permission to let things go that are no longer really ours to carry. I think that's a big one too, because a lot of times, especially when things come to a screeching halt, usually everything we've carried for a long time that's been in the back of the car comes flying up towards the windshield, which was kind of like what 2020 did. Just threw everything we've been carrying for a long time up for us to either avoid going through for as long as we possibly could. And then eventually we're like, but you really got to go through this stuff. And that's not necessarily easy. So we do have to believe that we have the strength to process some of those things that have maybe been lurking in the corners for a long time. And then to really have the fortitude or really have the discernment to go, is this actually me anymore? Is this resentment me anymore? Is this behavioral me anymore? Is this relationship me anymore? Is this career me anymore? Is this mindset me anymore? Is this friend group me anymore? Is this place I live me anymore? Like we were really being asked, like structures of our life, we're being asked if these things actually fit. Is this career that I literally just went to school for 7 years to study me anymore? And those can be really hard things to admit, right? But there's a piece of us, even if it's not the entire bit of us, there's a part of us that might look at something and be like, wow, I'm just so familiar with this thing. It's not that I actually am this anymore. I'm just familiar with it. And so I'm like kind of afraid to let it go because I don't know who I'll be without it. But we really do have a lot of power behind us with the stars. And the stars are aligning for you to have the power to let go of shit and actually just be anew on the other side. And I think we're feeling that even if you don't believe in the stars or any other kind of magic that's happening, but it's fun to believe in that stuff. To let go of things. Does anyone have like something that kept coming up all year that was like annoying you, your own pattern, someone else's pattern? which is really our patterns we're seeing in somebody else, right? Behavioral things, mindset things, or just like food that you ate or things that you did or ways that you thought, or you're just like, why does this keep popping up? I'm done with this. Anyone have something that revisits them like boop, boop?
For me, that was people FaceTiming in public.
Oh, yeah, that's annoying.
Oh, look at you. Sound asleep now, huh? Whoops. Sorry about that.
I mean, truly. At least no headphones on. You got to at least have headphones
Stop
on.
That. I appreciate that. One of the things
Yeah.
I've been thinking about, Leila, is how often, like, I wish we could give everybody 25 permission slips and just stick them in a drawer. And then when you take a look at, like, what is the full expression of my soul? What is me just like unapologetically out in the world all day? How I eat, how I move, how I dress, how I think, how I work, how I fuck, how I love, all of it fully expressed. And then at the juncture of every block, I wish someone would just come down and be like, oh, here's your permission slip.
Yeah.
So
what you want.
I hope people are taking the idea that you can write that on a Post-it note yourself. You can call a friend. We did this in the Nation last week. I had a guy tell another guy, I give you permission to write your book, start your blog, fall in love, ask blah, blah, blah. And everybody came back from that and was just like, yeah, man, that was kind of an interesting exercise. So, folks, get your Post-it notes out after this talk and write down you have permission 25 times and then stick that shit somewhere.
Yeah.
And then take a feel. Like, what does my soul want to do in this life? What does it want to do in this massive opening where I may not be able to go to a supermarket at all hours, but man, I have the ability to create my inner world. Thank God, because before we were so caught in that external cycle of who was exhausted, who thought a year ago was unsustainable. There's so many people like, yeah, we can't keep doing this. It's unsustainable. I didn't know it was going to be a giant pause button, but wow, now we get to learn how to express ourselves in a way that's full, but also sustainable.
Yeah. I was just, before we got on here and then when you were meditating, it made me think of how if we are really connected to ourselves in a deep way, like who we really are at our core, like beyond my bank account, beyond my body, beyond my gender, beyond my color, beyond literally anything. There's an essence that flows in and out of all of us that are bringing your physical body to life, to have consciousness, to listen to my voice, to be here, to have feelings about what I'm saying. There's a part of you that is pulsating and bringing your form to life. That's the soul, right? I have it. Every sentient being has it. Even blades of grass have it in smaller amounts. There's a intelligence, a force that literally takes an acorn and turns it into a fucking oak tree. And no human figured out how to do that. No human was like, I'm going to take this acorn, and then no, you wouldn't know how to do it. That's life's intelligence, right? I have a friend of mine who's newly pregnant. She's sending me little things of how the baby's growing. Do you think she actually knows how to grow a fucking kidney from scratch? No, but her body does, because her body is made of a universal intelligence, divine, God, source, whatever. And that source that built you from nothing, that literally rotates the earth on its axis, that blooms flowers. You know, to make a flower, there's no recipe for flowers. But that pulsates through you, is bringing you to life. Every single moment you have that kind of energy, that kind of essence pulsing forward through your life. Like, you are completely supported. But if we don't remember that that's who we really are, and I start to identify with the number in my bank going down, or my relationship crumbling, or all the shitty things that are happening, and those are the things I think I am, it can really suck. Like, most of the time, actually, it can suck. Because if I'm waiting for the outside world to be perfect, for me to be connected and have a sense of self that has the courage to move forward, to give myself permission to make a grand step, to do the thing, to make the change, to tell someone I love them. I'm waiting for the outside world to be perfectly curated for me to have the courage to do that. I will be waiting forever. And so we've really been asked in some way or another, whether we liked it or not, to slow down and to connect to ourself, to our own values, to who we are at our core. So one, so that we can start to be more like condensed, present, powerful people, but then also that we can start to access a sense of love, a sense of compassion, a sense of understanding, a sense of freedom that doesn't stop at my hand, that, and it doesn't run out ever, right? So we're also being asked to love further and into the places that it hasn't reached before, across race lines, across gender lines, across nations. This kind of galactic heartbeat we're being asked to stretch towards. But if we don't have our roots so deep in ourselves, we will run out of love. We will run out of the ability to listen to someone I don't understand. I will hate the other political party. I will yell at you just because you don't want to listen to me or you don't think my opinion is right. You know how many people think my opinion is right? Like nobody. So few people. So I'm waiting for everyone to think I'm right for me to be happy and free and love them. Then I'll be waiting forever. So we've been asked to slow down and root and start to actually discover who we are from our core, and then start to honor that whisper that we're hearing. Jeremy would call it a heart whisper. The soul speaks to us. Do this thing. Love that person. Listen, slow down, say no. Give yourself permission. We are being guided by the intelligence of the entire universe from inside our chest. Every moment, never stops. It's just a matter of, are you distracted, drunk, not paying attention, eating too much, playing video games, like doing things that are keeping me from listening? Or am I slowing down and connecting to my body, connecting to the earth, connecting with another, so slow-mo, so presently that I can hear what I'm being guided to do? So then those permission slips just start flying out of your ass when you're walking around. Like, I don't care. I don't care because I'm guided by love 100%. When we're connected like that, we don't even need someone to give us that. We walk around and just by being us, we are dishing them out to other people. Just let's go. We're being asked to love people. Are you anyone getting that? And in some way or another, because there's a lot of sorry, now I'm on a rant. But there's a lot of shame and guilt being thrown around. People not loving enough, not doing it right. You're on this side, which side are you on? That's not it either. We're all trying to love. We're trying to. So my request for you actually is anytime you want to judge somebody who's thinking slightly separate from you right now, for this whole year, or years to come, they also think they're doing their best. They also are actually trying to love you. They think that they are doing the right thing to love you more. If you knew that, could you love them more? And then our boundaries can start to soften, where we don't participate in creating more hate and separation, right? But we can only actually have the ability to do that if we're anchored in ourselves. We're connected to the heart or connected to our soul. And we actually start to prioritize those things. So one thing that I wanted to ask you guys for the year coming is, it's one thing to be like, okay, I'm going to lose 10 pounds and I'm going to do this thing. That's not actually going to work unless you have a reason for why you're going to do it. And you actually have support systems and your behavior actually changes, right? So giving yourself permission to, one, drop the shit that was keeping you from doing it before, and then start doing the things that will help you be that thing. So if you're like, I'm going to lose 10 pounds, but I'm not willing to stop eating ding dongs, then what do you think will happen? This is what we do every fucking year. It's so weird. I don't want to change anything, but I want everything to change. Like, what? You have to want to change. Who wants to change a little bit? Embrace who they are a little bit more. But do you really want to do it? Okay, awesome. Then you have to do something different today. One tiny thing different than you did yesterday. And then the next day you will be different. You'll be different as soon as you start doing it. This making sense? Points here. I know I went on like 15 tangents, but all of it was just it seemed at least they're laughing and like shaking their heads. So connecting back to the soul, the heart, so that we feel, powerful enough to start to bring our soul's purpose forward, to quit the job, and so that we don't feel like, oh my God, I just lost everything. You don't. You have the universe inside of you, on your team, guiding you. Universe wasn't here, you wouldn't be alive. Life wasn't inside of you, your heart wouldn't be beating. Like you're being called and really carried, like you're riding a massive wave and you're already on top of it. Just we forget that, we think we're underneath it, but you're on it and you're being supported. And then What are the things? I actually did write a couple things and I was like, oh yeah. So there are things that help us connect back to the soul, to the heart, to the roots of who we are. And we were asked all of 2020 to get clear on those things. We're slowing down so much. So working through our personal shit, and then what actually helps us feel grounded in a solid place. What do I do every day? Who do I hang out with? Right? What's my mindset like? It's a voice in my head, a total asshole. That's not going to work. You're not going anywhere. You're beating yourself up all the time, right? So I just need you to write down like 2 things. It can be an action, it can be a thought, it can be a behavioral, like whatever, but there's got to be some foundation visualizing the person you want to be in 2021. Maybe it's just a more amplified or freer version of who you are now. 2 foundations or pillars that support that future person. That could be joining the nation with Traver. That could be getting a coach. That can be daily meditation. That can be walking every day for 20 minutes. A journal practice. That can be drinking more water. That can be jumping on the trampoline, which I did think about getting a trampoline recently because who wouldn't want to start their day like that? Doesn't it sound fun? And then maybe nice. Yeah, feel free to write it in there or just keep it near you. And those will be things that help you whenever you're like, I'm going to give myself permission to do this thing. And you're like, what? How am I going to do that? And you're like, oh yeah, I'm building my foundation. Right? And the more of these practices that anchor you back to the heart, soul, more confident you'll feel. And it's a real confidence too, right? It's not that shaky, like external confidence where I'm only doing something because I want someone to see it. It's I'm doing something because there's absolutely no way I could survive not doing it. Trey, do you have anything to add? Because I think probably we got a lot of upper lip sweat now. I don't know.
I bet you're sweating like crazy.
I'm in Florida too.
How much coffee have you had?
I haven't only drinking decaf.
Wow.
I know. I thought about this today. If you were in Costa Rica, that's last year.
Yeah.
Only drinking decaf, and I make this like tea and tea blend thing. It's far inferior, but
brilliant. All right, guys, take 1 minute and just look over what you wrote. Feel into everything that we've talked about this morning. Feel into everything that you felt this morning. Right? Feel into the gap between the mental idea, the visualization, the imagination, and the physical reality. And how do you personally, with no rules, bridge that gap? What do you need to put into place? Who do you need to be around? What books do you need to read? What about your environment do you need to shift? Anything and all of it. Just take a moment and feel that before Leila guides us through some movement practice.
And then just write somewhere too that like the power of choice, man. We'll just send that Carolyn Mace video to the group maybe on YouTube, or I think it's just called Choices That Change Your Life or something by Carolyn Mace. But
it's a TED Talk, right?
We really remember. Yeah, it's a little TED Talk. It's so good. It's totally worth listening to. I think it's like 20 minutes long. But it really helps us remember that like really every moment we're so privileged and blessed for this to be so too. I would like to preface that at this point with where we stand and where we are, you're all on internet, on a computer screen or phone, like so much privilege to be able to be here, to listen to this and to make choices that really can evolve your spirit, really can evolve your life. Every moment holds that kind of potential. No choice goes unseen. Carolyn Mace would say that. And also that it doesn't matter what you choose, it matters why you choose it. If you're worried about what you're choosing, come back to why you are, and then you'll have complete confidence.
Beautiful. On that note, let's choose to do some yoga. Did your playlist come through?
I did send it. Did everyone get it?
Oh yeah, Aaron did as well.
Chat before, yeah.
Here, let me me take it from here and post it.
We're gonna do some. It's super simple. Even if you just have a towel down, it's all good. And oh yeah, everybody got it. All right, we'll get adjusted, and I'm gonna back up and then make sure you guys can still hear me. We're gonna be done on time, I promise.
Uh-huh. Are you gonna play it too, Leila?
No, I think everyone should just play it in their own on their own speaker or something so they can hear it better, and then they can still hear me.
Okay.
What's doing?
Oh my goodness, is that a folly sighting? I was just thinking that I haven't been ignored by your dog in over a year.
Don't worry.
So, and just so everybody knows, we're gonna stop. We have a hard stop in 40 minutes. Someone just asked how long will we be going. So we're gonna do some yoga, and then we're gonna come back and finish with any final thoughts that y'all have. But we'll be out of here. It's 9:52 my time right now, and we'll be done by 10:30.
Yep. So grab your playlist. Polly and Aaron.
What's this called, dude? It's called
Moonrise Yoga.
Moonrise Yoga. I'm trying to find that.
Everybody got it? Or just play whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. This was just one I put together the other day, so I figured we got it. So while you're setting up, yoga is really just another practice to get beyond the mind, because the mind is so loud and chaotic most of the time, and to get back in the body. There's so many different ways to practice yoga, so many different branches of yoga. Breathing is one of those. A lot of you guys were in there the other day when I taught some breathing exercises. Movement is another one of those. Resets the nervous system, and it gives us an opportunity to connect with our deeper nature, whether you are wiggling or you are doing the stretches perfectly or you're in a handstand. None of that really matters. So we're just breathing and moving to music. So let's push play. The first song is Opening, it's called. You guys got that? Oh. Cool. I mean, I don't know. Can everyone still hear me talk? Well, no, if you hear yours, then they won't be able to hear theirs. Is
that too loud for everybody on my end? Is the music drowning Leila out?
Good? Okay, awesome.
If you need me, I'll be right there doing elite yoga.
And handstand, push up. Anybody still hear me from back here? Traver's playing it on shuffle though, so I'm gonna mute him.
I am.
Yeah. Let's start from the top.
Did I fuck it up?
Fuck it up.
Hold on.
Everybody start standing. Come up onto your mat. This is where mat starts.
It's opening, right? That's what it starts with?
Yeah.
It's not on shuffle.
Oh. Whatever.
I wanted to go to the handstand one.
Start with whatever. So yeah, I want to start with handstands. Okay. Deep breath. Take your arms out. Wiggle your feet around. Press your toes under. Take your hands really fast. And breathe deep. In your nose, out your mouth. Arms up and back a couple times. As fast or as slow as you want. Go up and forward. Little torso side to side. I wasn't kidding about the wiggling practice. Let your arms be like noodles. Breathe and just notice what the mind is up to. And if the mind didn't have anything to say about it, what would the body think of doing this? Would it just be like, oh yeah, thank you. I'm needing to wiggle for the entire year, you have it. Arms all the way up, breath in, and on the exhale, go like this. Inhale, exhale, swing all the way down. One more. Sorry, you can't see. Come back down. One hand on your heart, one hand on your low belly. Feet right underneath you. Deep breath in through your nose. Exhale. Feel grounded through your feet, tall through your spine. And then just notice how when you breathe, you are watching life or the universe or the divine or whatever, the thing that pulsates everything to life, move in and out of your body. Plants could not grow, animals could not breathe, our body wouldn't be alive if the breath of life literally wasn't moving in and out of you without any of your personal direction. It's happening anyway. Forming the cells of your body to heal, create, to grow. Deep breath in through the nose. And on the exhale, we're just going to fold forward, bend your knees a little bit, let your arms hang down, head's heavy, and just sway side to side. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Feel some gratitude for your hamstrings and all they've done for you this year, whether you've just sat on them all day or you actually did something. Both are good. Slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Keep your arms heavy, head heavy till you get all the way to the top. Keep your eyes closed. We're just going to make some slow circles with the head. Do 2 circles each way. Ground down through your feet and breathe all the way from your toe tips to the top of your head. Every inhale and then also every exhale, giving the body an opportunity to cleanse from old air, get all the shit out of you. You don't need any more, making space for the new. Other way. Deep breath in, sweep your arms all the way up. Notice the air between your fingertips. Doesn't matter if you go forward or out to the side. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, come halfway up, spine's long. And on the exhale, take your right foot and step it way back. Drop your knee down. We're in a lunge position. Let your hips come towards the ground, ankles underneath the knee, and just sink down and breathe. And see if you can tune back into the heart space. If the mind is pulling you to breakfast or lunch or last night or whatever, come back into your body. You can only feel and experience your life inside your body. Get up onto the tippy fingers and go back and forth with the hips. So we're stretching out our hamstring and then the hip. Being curious about the muscles, ligaments, bones in your body as if you're paying attention to them for the first time. In the lunge, keep your right palm or fist down on the ground. Left palm reaches all the way up for a twist. And then either just staying here or make huge circles with the left arm. If you're painting the walls around you, go slow. So if it was like the last thing you got to do with your life, if you could really pay attention to what you were doing. And Slowly bring that left hand down, and then just tuck the right toe under and lift the right knee in the back. Awesome. And then go back and forth a couple times. Plant your hands down, take your left foot, step it back, like a push-up position, high plank, hold. Look at your hands and be grateful you have hands, admire your fingers. Push back to downward facing dog, pedal your feet, deep bend in one knee, deep bend in the other. Come forward, high plank position, slow-mo. Exhale, lower knees, chest and chin, or lower like a push-up, whatever. We're gonna press up into cobra, so lift your heart up and back, shoulders down, elbows back. And then keep your knees down, push back into child's pose, kiss your toes together. Let your butt be heavy on your feet and crawl your fingertips towards the front. Drop your forehead down. Roll your forehead side to side on the mat. Bring some gratitude into your heart for the health of your body today. Flip your palms up towards the sky. Just imagine that there's something that maybe has been returning to you, a stressor, a pain during 2020. Just imagine it in your palms and ask for help. Ask for God, grace, source, whatever, to come in and help this stressor, this weight, be a little lighter. We're allowed to ask for help. Palms back towards the ground. Inhale. Come up through tabletop position. We're going to do a couple cat-cows. Inhale, drop your belly down, heart forward and through. Exhale, round your spine, chin to chest. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale. Couple more times. Bringing nourishment to the spine with your breath. We're going to tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. From here, we're going to take the right foot and we're going to step it up in between the hands, drop the back knee. We're in the opposite side lunge. Stay here and breathe, let your hips get heavy. Notice where the mind is and bring it, as if you were to drop the mind all the way down into the heart. As if your heart was the part of you, that you viewed the world, that you perceived the world, you felt the world. Through the back and forth again, hamstring stretch, and then hips. Breathe fully and deeply. Where the breath goes, the mind follows. So if we'd like our mind to stay here with us, we breathe in a way that captivates the mind. I breathe to build my shape. Next time we're in that lunge, left palm or fist stays down, right palm reaches. Deep belly breaths. And then if you did the circles on the other side, we'll do them here. Slow motion. And back down to the ground. We're going to tuck the back toe, lift the knee. And then here we'd go back and forth again, just with the back knee lifted. From here, we're going to take that left foot and step it up towards the right. Hang in your forward fold position again. Clasp your elbow, your fingers in your elbow creases. And sway side to side. Take a moment and bend your knees a lot so that your belly is kind of hanging on your thigh. Back towards the floor. Separate your feet towards the edges of the mat. Turn your heels in and drop your butt down. Squat position. If you need your hands down, that's fine. If you can, lift the hands up. We're going to bring the elbows into the knees. Maybe the palms or the fists come together. Breathe deeply. Call your awareness back. I like to imagine that every breath is like an invitation to be in the present moment. Really releasing any past experiences, any other time zone my mind's trying to tell me is more important. Back to the sensations, to the feelings. More breaths, no rushing. Slowly bring your hands back towards the floor. Lift your butt high. This time, clasp your hands behind your back. Either just staying here for a balancing pose, or maybe drop your hands towards the other side so you're getting a shoulder stretch. Breathe. You can shift, bending one leg and the other. Slowly bring your hands back towards your butt and back towards the floor. Slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. All the way to standing. Shoulders up and back. Shaking the hands out again. Shake them hard. Shake them like you were a kid when you were shaking them as fast as you could. Breathe. Breathe into your feet, but keep shaking. Go on, keep going. And stop. Stillness. Breathe. Right hand's going to slide down the right thigh. Left arm's going to come up and over. Push down a lot through your left foot so you feel stretched down the whole left side of the body. Keep your breath flowing freely. Inhale back through center and just swap sides. Left hand down the left thigh. Right arm comes up and over. Push down your right foot a lot. Inhale back through center. One hand on heart, one hand on belly. Drop your chin. Breath in. Exhale through your mouth. Next back to a place of gratitude. Repeating the mantras Traver gave us earlier. Remember all of them, that you're not alone. I've got your back. Long here. I'm listening to you now. Breath and arms up. And exhale, fold all the way over. Inhale halfway. And exhale, we'll just step back, get into a high plank position. Breath in. Exhale, lower knees, chest and chin, or like a push-up. Inhale, we're going to do 3 cobras. So inhale to lift. And exhale to lower. Keep your shoulders down and back, lots of space for the neck. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, back. Child's pose. This time maybe widen your knees a little bit. Reach the hands out. Flip the palms up. And this time bring something that you're grateful for into your heart, into your palms. Maybe it's someone who has been with you this year, that has supported you and loved you. And there's so much love right now that wherever they are in the world, that you give something pop into their heart, that they are drowned in the love that you're sending them.
Look up to the stars, the darkness glow.
Palms back towards the ground. Step both hands over towards the left. Reach out the right side body.
Without your body forward, don't hesitate your dream. Then after all,
Step over towards the left or towards the right. Stretch the left side body. Come back through center. Inhale up through our tabletop. Exhale back, downward facing dog.
over fields of green.
And from here, you're just going to take the right leg and lift it up as high as you can. Doesn't matter what you do once it gets in the air. You could wiggle your foot around. You can bend the knee. Just breathe deeply. Let both arms and hands be strong. And then slowly, we're going to bring that leg up. This is pigeon pose. So the side of the leg is going to come down. Stretching out our right butt cheek. So the side of the leg comes down, left leg comes straight back behind you. Hips are squared forward. Awesome. And just keep your arms straight, chest tall for a few breaths. And notice how we always want to clench the bottom part of our body when we get into this. So soften. Soften the belly, soften the breath. And we're just going to come down to sleeping pigeon so we can lower the torso, stack the fists, and drop the head. Back to gratitude. Allow every breath to fill the body with the nourishment that it needs, the presence. One more deep breath. Slowly lift up onto the hands. Tuck our back toe, plant the hands. And then just peel that leg up. You can do whatever motions feel good. You can lift it back into the air. You can just pedal the feet. Put the left leg up as high as you'd like. Wiggle it around. Technical term. And then now bring it through pigeon pose on this side. Out of the leg comes down. Flex the foot if you can. Protect the knee. Right leg is straight back behind you. Hips are squared. Lift your chest nice and tall. Soften the shoulders. Relax the belly, pelvis. Slowly come down, sleeping pigeon. Bring your whole heart with you, your whole mind with you into this pose. Practicing present. We want to be present in our life, the exciting moments of our life we don't want to miss. We practice learning how to be present. Mundane. Different postures, and then asking our mind to come be with us. Inviting a good friend. Stretch out on the mat with us. You're interested. You're curious. You're holding space, not needing to be anywhere else, not rushing away. One more breath. Bring yourself back up on your hands. Press back, last downward facing dog. Wiggle the legs around. Slowly dropping the knees down. So sit back on the knees for a moment. Flat back on the heels. Put the palms up. Drop your shoulders down. Just feeling how you are. From here, we're just going to make our way onto our backs, or if a seated meditation feels better for you. Otherwise, we'll roll on over. Take up a lot of space on the ground. You can butterfly the legs if that feels good. Extend them out straight. Soft shoulders. Deep breath in through your nose. Exhale slowly through your mouth. Just listen to the song. Allow your heart to be totally present. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see all your life. You were only waiting for the spawn to free. Blackbirds fly. Blackbirds fly. In a light of a dark sky. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to blackbird Deep, deep breath in. Exhale. So to wiggle the body, fingers and toes. So if it's the first time you've ever moved your body, recognizing the potential. Whatever movements feel good, maybe stretch the arms up above or pull the knees into the chest. Gently make our way back up to sitting. If you can get to where you're hugging your knees into your chest. And then dropping your head down towards your knees. Take a breath. And I want you to imagine that your arms are wrapped around your favorite person that's ever walked the planet. Sending love, appreciation, recognition for their path so far, their hardships, their successes, in complete awe of the human that they have become. And in complete encouragement towards the future, 100% belief in whatever it is that they'd like to do and be. 3 more breaths like that, being with yourself in a new kind of way, the kind of way that life is calling us to be with ourselves, so that we can be with each other in this way. We cannot give to others what we cannot give to ourselves. We want the world to be different. We have to be different. Squeeze yourself in the way that you'd like to squeeze the world into being whole and healthy and happy and free. Slowly release, knowing you have this kind of connection right in the center of your chest whenever you want. Isn't that empowering? This is a good song. Bring one hand to the heart. Take a deep breath. In this moment, just honoring the flicker of light that is within you, beating your heart, animating your form. Recognizing that light as the same life force that pulses through all things, all beings. Same life force that desperately wants to be free, happy, purposeful, loved. In honoring that divine aspect within ourselves, we have the capacity to honor that in others. And may we see that as our eternal dharma, our purpose. Ultimately, this is what we are searching for. This reconnection, this ability to serve from this place, to love from this place, to liberate from this place. May we make it our personal missions to reconnect so that we might be lighthouses for others on their way home. One last deep breath in. Exhale. Namaste. I honor you all.
Thank you, Leila. That was beautiful. What a powerful way to start the morning, huh?
Mhm.
Absolutely powerful way. Someone had asked if I would share the songs in the playlist from the beginning. They're the first three songs. And before we close, I just also want to extend a ton of gratitude. We raised about $800
Wow.
free mental health counseling, which, as you guys know, that's the thing we're not talking about right now is what's happening behind the scenes with a lot of the population. But we believe, Leila and I both, that this is how you shift that culture. This is how we shift that challenge. Is it always comes back to how we show up, how we present ourselves, and how we exist in the world. So thank you so much, all of you, for showing up, for donating, for being a part of this, and for allowing us to be in service as well. We wanted to start the year in service, and we don't get to do that if you guys don't all show up.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you all so much. If I can ever do anything for you, if we can ever do anything for you personally or within your communities, know that we're here and that we're all in this together.
Leila, can we end with a lightning ohm?
I love this is Aaron, by the way. I want to introduce Aaron.
Hi, Aaron.
Hey, Happy New Year, everybody.
A lightning ohm.
Yeah, you guys, if you've never done a lightning ohm, this is from my teacher, Kobe Kozlowski. And you guys all know ohm, right? Where you go, ohm, and you do that for like however long and you get enlightened and all that shit happens. So a lightning ohm is we're going to take our hands, we're going to go an inch out. And then on the count of three, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, ohm. And that's it. You ready? But we got to do it together. If we all do it together, like absolute magic happens. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, boom. Amazing. Have a kick-ass rest of your day. Thank you guys. Leila, I love you. What a pleasure.
Such a privilege. Can't wait to be with you all in person. That was
that's coming.
During my heart, what an amazing thing it is to have care. So go hug the ones you love, drag them into doing things like this with you. Yeah, make a difference. Love you all. Thank you.
Cheers.
Happy New Year.